I'm live, but I'm up. So there we go. Let's try not to. Where's my... Oh, that's why I had to rotate my device. Right, so that's in. Okay. Oops. Get to turn me down now. Hooray! I've got it that way up. Right, let's just put that back to there so I can see if there's any chat. Oh, see myself. Good evening. I'm not sure whether anybody will be watching live because I know there was lots and lots of lives going on Facebook tonight. But as this is YouTube, and it will be then on my... Hi, Brian. Oh, hi, Mary. I should say it's Mary. You're under Brian. And then I read Mary and I thought, oh, that's confusing me. Hi, Mary. Yeah, so... And this, because this is a YouTube live, they obviously they stay on my channel as videos to watch afterwards. I know a lot of people watch YouTube lives a lot more after the event rather than, whereas Facebook seems to have a lot more interaction. So I'm not too worried. So I'll just crack straight on because otherwise we'll be chatting and I'll probably bore somebody who watches it later. So hi everyone, tonight I am going to be doing some collage paper in my journal. I've got my Dina Wakeley mixed media journal here. I've got, when I started looking through what sorts of collage papers I had, because I thought it'd be nice to have a look at the different sorts that are on the market that you can use and get, and also the different ways of applying them into your journal. I didn't realize how many I had, how many different brands I had until I started going through them to get them out tonight. So this is by no means everything you can get. Hi, Gail. But it's a selection of the main ones that people would probably be using. I have to say, some of these mediums, I got this soft gloss gel from my shelf because this is, you can use this for rice paper, and I was shaking. I'm sure it's not meant to sound like that. But it's, oh, let me have a look. I've had this for such a long time. It's been sat on my shelf. I did used to use it, but then I moved. Oh, it's got a thing on it. I don't know if it's meant to be like really, really runny. So, oh, it's stuck. Oh no. Oh, I think that may have gone off. I'm not sure. But it was just as an example of things that you can use when applying rice paper. So I'll put those aside to start with, because then we'll go through those once I've had a look. So I was going through my stash, and I have to admit I am a bit of a collage paper lover. I do love a bit of collage paper, but there are sort of different types of collage paper on the market. Now, collage is literally just, I had to look it up just to check on the definition, is just sticking together layers of different materials. So that could be papers, that could be fabrics, but it's collaging them, layering them up. But I thought I'd focus on collage paper rather than anything else, because that's the main thing that we'd use. Now, I found, this just shows you, look, when I was going through my stash, I found this one that I've got, the Creative Expressions Andy Skinner rice paper. I think I bought this because I think it was on sale, and I think I was buying stuff off of a website, and you know when you get that where it'll be free delivery if you spend over so much. I think it was over £20, and it was like nearly there, so I threw them in just as like an extra, because I do love vintage and I do love rice paper. But I'd forgotten I even had them. In fact, I had some other ones in there that were Finnabair ones that I'd forgotten I'd bought. I think they were the same. They were in a sale and I chucked them in to top my postage over. But I know that I will always get around eventually to use them. So these are, I haven't actually even got these out. Oh, these are quite a thick. Now, these are interesting. Because I would say these were more like they're on a mulberry paper, which reminds me a little bit of, this is one from Pretty Gets Gritty, and this is on a Sumi, Japanese Sumi paper. which is a bit thicker as well. So you can get sort of thicker rice papers that are more substantial. But then you could also get these beautiful sort of more tissuey ones. So I do use a lot of Dina Wakefield. It's probably what I'm going to use tonight. I'll get about a bit. So this is more of a tissue sort of feel to it, and so it's a lot lighter. So that's really good for layering different layers of the tissue together. And then I've also got Stamperia, which is, it classes, this is a rice paper as well. So this has got like them, what they call them, I hate it because they call it it's slugs. So it's like bits of the paper sort of in the built into the paper sort of thing. So that's, you know, another one that's a bit more rice papery. But then I've got these, a couple of the Tim Holtz. Now I do use these quite a lot. I do love these ones. And these are, again, these are more like the Dina Wakley ones. So these are more of a tissue. So they come on a roll rather than sheets. Ooh, you can tell I do use them because that's actually got stuck where I've obviously put it back together with gluey hands. So yeah, so this is more like the Dina Wakley in a lot more sort of that tissuey type look. So I might use some of that tonight. And I've got, this one is a typeset, and this one is entomology. So this has got like butterflies and field notes, and this is more sort of got text and alphabets and things on it. I quite like them being in the little tubes. They're quite nice to keep hold of. So I also have collage paper elements. So I have these books from Asher Marquette Lemon Creation, and these are on more of a thicker paper, so you can like layer them up. Oh, hello Asher, just talking about you, funny enough. Looking at your collage book here. So that's more of collage elements rather than, you know, collage paper to put in your background. So they're really lovely. And similar with the Diane Reevely, which is more of a collage paper. So it's more elements to cut up and put onto your pages rather than actually create your backgrounds. So we're going to use some of these bits. I'm not quite sure what I'm using yet. I'm sort of going to wing it and put them all on the floor. And then you can use various sort of light-ish glues to put them down. So you can use your transparent gesso. I have done that. So I have the Pretty Gets Gritty. Your soft gloss gels. So this is, so like I said, this is a gloss one. But then also like your matte mediums. I've got a couple of different matte. You know, it's terrible. When I started actually looking through what I had, it was quite scary. So they're all quite liquidy. This is the Liquitex one, and this is the Deco Art one, so, but they're both the same. So they have a matte finish to them, which I actually prefer. Oh, I've got two of those out because there's only a tiny bit left in that one. So, and then there's the Distress Collage. This is the one I actually do use the most. I like the finish on it, and it's, you can work over it quite nicely. So I do use that one probably the most out of everything. You can get different finishes in this. You can get like a crazing, like a crackle, and you can get like a vintage color. But there are also other glues on the market that are specifically for collage or rice paper or napkin art, or so if you just look out for anything that sort of has those names on, they're the sorts of things that will be good for sticking down your thinner papers. When it comes to the more the collage paper elements, I do tend to use something like my Cosmic Shimmer acrylic glue, sort of something that's still a wet glue, still fairly liquid, but it's got a little bit more substance to it, just because holding down those paper elements is, you know, a little bit more tricky with the really runny glues. So I'm going to move all of those out of the way. Everything's now on the floor. I'm going to keep those two. They're the ones to use. So, like I said, I'm going to use my Dina Wakley journal. Now, this one has turned into a bit of a collage paper journal because for some reason it just did. So we'll have a quick flick through. So in the back of this one, there's some of the Tim Holtz collage tissues, and you can see that goes really transparent. So it really does blend into your pages. I also use washi tape. I sort of consider as a bit of a collage paper as well, but I do stick it down rather than just leaving it, you know, to stick itself down, because it tends to come back up again. I think again there's a bit of, I'm not sure if that's collage paper in the background or not. Oh, I think, yeah, there is. Again, I think it's the Tim Holtz one. Obviously, I do like the Tim Holtz one. A bit of Diane Reevely. So Diane Reevely's collage elements with some of the Dina Wakley paper as well. Oh, another one, another Diane Reevely. So I do enjoy using the different collage elements. This is the Dina Wakley tissue. Then we have Asher's collage elements, paper elements in here from that book actually that I've got down there. Then also, obviously, you can stamp out and collage up your own elements. And if you get plain tissue, you can do your own collage papers. Mixing and matching sort of elements from collage paper that's already created, like Diane's, but then adding in your own stamps as well to create more. Again, using the, I think this is the Dina Wakley with a bit of dilution, but then drawing around your collage elements to make them more of a sort of a statement with it. And this is what I mean about layering them up. So I've got the Dina Wakley text in the background, and then I layered over with the lady, I do believe, unless you know, she might all be one sheet. I may be lying. I think that may all be one sheet, but I have done, I've got a feeling with the face. Did I do that with the face? Oh, I won't be able to find it now, will I? Face, where are you? Yes, no. No, I layered that over stenciling. Don't know what I'm talking about. Oh, you're chatting now. So collaging up your different elements. Again, you can tell I do like a bit of collage, can't you? That's not really collage. Well, it was die cuts actually. Collaging with your stamps. Let's find a page. Let's find a page that I can. Oh, look, one started, not finished. That was my last video I made. Let's go with this. Let's go with a plain page. And I am going to clip it down just in the corner. And we will do some background collaging. So I don't know if anybody has a preference whether I use Tim Holtz ones or whether I use Dina Wakley. I could have do a bit of both, couldn't I, actually? Sorry, I'm leaning down. That's why you probably think I've gone quite quiet then. I do like the Dina Wakley backgrounds, I have to say. I don't think I've used this pack very much, to be honest. I have got one that's got a lot of text in. That's a really cool one. I've got some mark making type ones. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm sort of just going to go with the flow with the page, so I'm not sure what I want to put on it. But let's see if we can maybe, let's go with the leaves. We'll go with the leaves, and then we can have like a botanical feel. Oh, thank you. I did like that one with the face. That was one that actually was a bit of a, like, I just went with the flow for that. I think I did make a video of that one. Right, now I find with the tissue collage paper, it does have a way it wants to tear. So I think it's to do with the way the paper's weaved. Is that a word? Woven. So it seems to it tears it one way better. So if I tear that way, it tears in a nice straight line. If I turn it that way, it really finds it difficult, and it wants to just go back into that line, if you see what I mean. So it doesn't want to tear that way. So I tend to sort of try and just go with the flow with it. If you want to take a specific element out, then you can cut it with your scissors. But if you want it then to really blend into your page, if you get your paintbrush or your water brush and put water around your element. I'm watching one video. I go through phases with YouTube. I will watch loads of videos in one go, and then I don't watch any for a little while, and then I go, I'll go back and and I binge watch videos again. And then if you sort of just tear it like this with your fingers, and that will it just breaks the fibres, and it gives you this sort of feathered edge, which means that when you actually stick your elements down, ooh, that's a bit funny there, it blends into the background even better. Oh yeah, that's not long now, is it? Well, ours go back. Oh, one more week and then they're back. So let's put that one down. I mean, sometimes I will rip down sort of the edge as well, just to take off. And I don't like, generally, unless it's going to be right along the bottom, I do tend to try and take the square edges off. Let's just get some of this down, and then we can add some of the Tim Holtz. Right, I don't think there's hardly any left in this pot. I think that's why I put it there. Yeah, it's nearly finished. I always have a spare pot as well. I'm really bad. I was on a live the other night, and I have a fear of running out. I don't have a fear of missing out. I have a fear of running out. Running out of glues, running out of mediums. I have to have extra. So I tend to put my medium down on the page, put it on the back of the paper, and then I put it over the top. And you can see there where when you've got a white background, that just melts into it as though you stamped. So if you've got a sort of a surface that's really tricky to stamp onto, particularly canvases and things like that, using your collage papers is really, handy. And also, like in your journals, when like mine get quite bulky, because I do tend to 3D things up quite a lot in my journals. So they can get a bit more difficult to stamp into in certain places, usually on this page, because that's what you usually work through that way. So it's like a handy way of getting your stamping. If you want to do perfect stamping, as in like a crisp stamp, it's a really handy way of getting a crisper image in there. Let's have a little bit of that. Let's have a little bit. I think a little bit more we need, don't we? Now, which way was it tearing? It was tearing this way, wasn't it? Like that. So I'm not worried if I sort of tear through bits. I'm going to turn this one this way. Now this Dinner Wakeley's does have a shiny, a sort of smooth side and a rougher side. Now I have seen on some of her lives she's done, somebody has asked before now what is the proper, so if you've got the plain paper, what side should you stamp on? She said it doesn't really matter, but I've always noticed that the printing is on the shinier side. So I don't know whether that's because it's easier for the glue to sort of grip the textured side or not. It might not be nothing to do with that. But when I use the plain one and to stamp onto, I tend to stamp onto the shiny side. I'm going to put that down there. Yeah, see, I do like, sometimes I like working on separate paper, but I just haven't, I just like the thing, I just like the thing of the journal. I don't know why. Let's just do this bit. Now, I don't worry with this matte medium, this distress matte medium, about getting it all over the place. It doesn't seem to be too much of an issue with your future layers, but if you could then like get something like a clear gesso and gesso over your page so you can still see your background, but it gives you another layer to then work on top of. I don't know why I've just put the lid on that. I still need it, don't I? Right, so let's go with the entomology. So this is the Tim Holtz. Now what I tend to do is, because I always end up with bits left over, and I pop them in the middle of my tube so that I can use them afterwards. So let's use up what's in the middle of the tube. There's like these lovely like filled notebooks. Now this tissue tends to tear a bit more randomly. Now what I mean about being able to then layer these ones up is because that's quite a bold image. I'm going to layer some of that over the top of that one so that you can get the text, but also the the image coming underneath. Oh, look, that, oh no, that was already there. Let's get a bit of that. See, you can see why I get through quite a lot of collage medium. I have been told before that I'm a bit heavy-handed with the old glues and things. You know, belt and braces, you know, I like to make sure things are properly stuck down. That's the trouble. So you now get sort of like your layers of your tissue paper, which I really like. What's this one over here? Oh, got some beetles. Let's put this one. Now this has got, I'm going to tear it just because I want a more raggedy edge along there. And actually, so I'm going to, thing also I like about tissue and collage papers is that you can cut across your pages easily because it's so fine. It easily works into, you know, the crease where the spine is of your journal. So I'm going to keeping that little bit. I'm going to, if I've got any left in there, oh, I still have. Can't waste a drop of my collage medium, even though I've got another pot there, and I have actually got a whole pot on the shelf still as well. So when I say I've got fear of running out, I'm not even joking, I really do. So let's pop that, let's have it going across the bottom of there. So again, we get that sort of, and then what I tend to do is I tuck that in there first. If it's struggling at all, I lift my pages up so that I crease it into that area. It's a bit wonky, but it doesn't matter. It's a background, isn't it? There we go. Over the top of that. And oh, we had that text, didn't we? Let's have a bit of this. I'm trying to read that because I'm thinking I don't see how that's the entomology, but it probably is. It looked like it should be on the other one. Maybe I might put it in the wrong pot. Let's look at this. So let's put that up against the edge there. I don't think Diane Reeve, these ladies are going to, that collage people are going to go particularly with this page. I think we might stick to some more vintagey type. And that's, oh, I've got things like Tim Holtz's paper dolls and bits and bobs that might make quite nice main features. So I'm just adding some more bits in. So this is why also it's a really good one for you know, you don't waste anything. If you, any little scrap of collage paper you've got left over, you can just pop it on. And actually what I could do is, let's get some, I've got some like this is what I mean by washi tapes. I sometimes just like to tear those in as well. Now although they're sticky, I do then just, I treat them as another collage tissue. So I know a lot of people will say, oh, I don't really know what to do with my washi tapes. So I just add them in as little bits. Also, they're a great thing for if you've got a focal point, using them as your grounding for things. But let's like pop that on there. Lots of pops. I don't worry so much about putting the collage medium on the back of that because it's already got a stickiness. I'm figuring that by the time I've put that on the page and then put that over the top, that is going to stick. What's this bit? This is a bit of tissue. I'm going to, I think I have literally drained that pot. So let's put that in there. Let's get the other one. That was when I found that on the shelf the other day. I didn't even realise I still had it because look, I'm already halfway through this one. So I didn't realise that I had one that was nearly finished. Let me see. It doesn't really matter which way around the writing goes, but it would probably bug me if I knew I'd stuck it upside down. If it was on there and I'd already covered it all up, then it probably wouldn't be so much of an issue. See this one, I don't know which way around it goes. I'm going to have to take that off, aren't I? Because I want it in that corner because it's got a corner look to it. So I never know how much questions to ask people in these lives because the chat isn't as easy to do, I don't think, as it is on Facebook. I was going to ask if anybody uses, I know Asha probably will do, but does anybody else use collage paper in their either journaling or their card making? Because I mean, it's not just journaling, you can use it in whatever you want to. Just trying to get a bit of glue off my fingers because they do get a bit gunked up. Oh, do you know what? That's there, sitting there, so I'm going to put it on. I'm thinking I do want to maybe put some colour over this, and I'm not sure. I think maybe should go with some distress inks, perhaps. Yeah, I guess you would. Love collage paper. It's fun, isn't it? I think if anybody's ever sort of got that blank page thing and they're thinking, oh, I don't know how to start my page, just collaging, and it doesn't have to be with specially bought ones. You could get, you can get tissue out of a old, when you buy shoes and they have tissue in them. You can use that, stamp on that with, as long as it's a waterproof ink, and then glue that down. Sort of build a background really, really quickly, and it takes away that blank space, doesn't it? Straight away. Well, not straight away, because obviously I've took half an hour just to stick some stuff down on a page, but you know what I mean. Quite then reasonably quickly. Not super duper quickly. I think that will do. So we've got a bit of interest going on there. Let's pop that little, and I've got rid of that stuff that's in the middle of that one, so that's always good. Let's pop me. I can't put that away for now. I'm going to keep that there for a minute. Oh, got a brush there. Put that away. Oh, that's because I use it to cut the paper, so to speak, didn't I? Wondered why I had it then. Right, let's give this a dry. Actually, I could use some of the coloured, because I've got this Stamperia rice papers down there. I've had a bit of those in, couldn't I? Let's dry this first. I apologise for my very loud heat tool. Oh, I've got to move my plug a bit. So if you do use collage papers, what sorts of ones do you like? The sort of thinner ones, the rice papery ones, or the tissuey ones? Collage elements. And these are really good if you really want to blend into the background. And even if that was coloured, that would blend to an extent. I don't find you can blend it as much, but I find the best way to get them to really blend is to make sure you put plenty of medium on them, to make sure that you've covered the back and covered the page where you're sticking it. And then by having those two sort of layers of medium sort of soaking the paper, I think it somehow gets into the fibres and helps it to disappear more into your background. I know I've already got some colour come through from other pages in here. It still feels a bit sticky, but to be fair, if I'm going to stick some other paper on it, I don't know quite why I was drying it. I think I thought I was going to see, now this is very steampunky. I'm wondering if I've got something, but I do like the colour. I do quite like it. I love that grid in the background. Ooh, what else have I got? I haven't got much in the way of sort of coloured rice papers. Oh, we've got some nice vintagey elements in this. Seeing as I haven't used these, I'm wondering whether to go with a bit of coloured. I'm not sure. I've never tried to rip these before. Let's have a go. I'm going to do it like this rather than with the water. Now these are, like I said, these ones are a little bit more substantial. I am going to tear that into the actual piece because I want it to look, I don't want it to look too straight, if you know what I mean. I don't want it to look too placed. I want it to look a bit shabby and old. Whoa. There we go. Have a bit of that maybe. So maybe have a bit of that there. Let's see how that blends in to start with. So I think I'm going to go with some vintagey colours in the background. So I'm going to do this the same way. Now this is, like I said, this is a thicker sort of paper in that it's got these, where it's got the pieces of, I always think of it more, I know they say a rice paper. It reminds me of years ago when I first started crafting, you used to get the mulberry papers. I don't know if you remember those. But look, it still does go, so you can still see through the paper. And I think the more and more you work your mediums in with these papers, the more so you can really see where that's coming through. So this is the other thing I really love about collage, is that you can layer and layer and layer them up. You know, it's not a problem. And when I put some vintage distress inks on these, I may have to go and get it, that will blend it in even more. Let's have olive oil. I'm going to guess that is, yeah, that must be oil of olive with fleurs is flowers, orange flower, I'm going to guess. I think. So let's give, ooh, I want to get the edge a bit, but not I don't want to rip into it too much, because again, but like all these little bits I will keep. Hey, see, I learned something in GCSE French. I didn't do too bad in GCSE French. I haven't, considering I have not really used it since. I do actually surprise my 10-year-old, but I don't think it's very easy to surprise a 10-year-old, is it, and make yourself look good when I can sometimes say some things. Let's put this one down here. So I've got that one there. Oh, now I'm thinking, I should have maybe gone more up there, but I don't, unless I go 3, I might have to go for 3, because I do like things being in 3. So I might go one there, and then maybe tear one in half and do a pour. Although then again, there, and hopefully it will cover up this splodge of, I'm not quite sure what it is that's coming from another page. Probably paint. And again on the back. So this is what I mean about making sure I make sure that I've really sort of covered it from edge to edge, because sometimes I find when it doesn't blend is around the edges, and you find it's because you haven't quite sort of got your medium right into the edges. So you can see my splodge still. Doesn't want to cover that splodge up, does it? Well, I think we probably do need something up here now. So let's see, what do we have? Have we got any more coloured ones? Oh, I've probably got another sheet, haven't I? Or I could go with the black and white one. No. Yeah, I sort of want a bit more of the coloured ones. Let's have a look. What else? Have I just got one of each? Oh no, 2 each of 3 designs. That's quite nice though, isn't it? Oh, I could have a piece of one, couldn't I? It's like it's almost like it's got like a wood grain, you know, a wood paneling effect with like a distressed wallpaper going on. I quite like that. Let's have a piece. Ooh, it still does want to, I think when you get to the bits in the paper, that's when you then struggle a bit with it. Let's tear a piece. And I am a big advocate for not, having said that, having got lots of stuff I haven't used, of using your stuff. Use your papers, use your paints, but especially I know people do tend to keep papers because you know that once it's gone almost. But that's what I like about journaling though as well, is because you're not giving it away. A bit selfish, but you it's something that you're keeping. So I don't feel that it's so much of a drag to use your stuff, because you know that you're not giving, it's staying with you anyway. So I want that to go right up to the top. Now these ones that are more substantial, having said that, the Inner Wakeling ones are pretty robust, I do find. But you can move them around. Now, was there something on the page underneath? There was. So I can fold that over, that's fine. And give that a little. So we've got some little patches of vintage colour going on there. Let's put the lid on that one now. And I will now put that in my water. I had to think about that. I had to think about whether I still need it. And I will give it another blast, just to, because I don't want to ruin my blending brushes or anything. Or I might go with my foams actually, so that I'm not so worried about them. My blending brushes I use more on my delicate sort of stencils and things like that, and blending around the edges of things. So if I might get my blending foams out, because if I ruin them I'm not so bothered, because I've always got loads of them things. Really focus on these bits. At least attempt to get it dry. Then I will have to go and grab some distress inks. I couldn't think of the word. I'm going to use the normal, so to speak, distress inks, the originals. I'm thinking probably some of the browns, maybe because we've got a little bit of like a mossy green in there. Maybe, I think I've got forest moss actually. And we've got like, this looks a bit like maybe a grey, or like a weathered wood or something like that. Might be quite nice. But equally I could spray it, but I've only really got the upside sprays, and they may be a bit too opaque for what I want. I'm just going to not fall over on the big pile of paper that's on the floor. And I am only here, I am grabbing some ink. So we'll go with Vintage Photo, got Hickory Smoke. Let's go with maybe Peeled Paint. Oh, Bundled Sage, that's a nice vintagey colour, isn't it? We'll have a bit of Vintage Photo. I think I've got Walnut Stain there. That'll do. So I've got, I think actually the Bundled Sage, it's not quite that, but it's a nice vintagey colour. We've got Vintage Photo, Hickory Smoke and Walnut Stain. I picked up one, well, Walnut Stain was Vintage Photo actually, but it wasn't. Let me find, oh, I was going to get my blending sponges, wasn't I? Oh dear, scrub those as well. You've never used papers like, oh, they are good fun. And like I said, what am I looking for? Distress blending tools. That's it. You don't have to buy expensive pre-made ones. Just get these stamps out and get some onto some tissue paper. Just cheap tissue paper to start with. See if you like it. Makes it a really cool sort of start to a project. And if you don't like what you've done, paint over it, colour over it. I'm going to use the same blending sponge for. I have different sponges to go with different handles, and it's just a mix and match situation. Right, so let's start with Vintage Photo, because that's a nice sort of Oh, you have rice papers. Get them out, Mary. Now, you will find that there is a difference. And this is what I meant about if you are worried about it, do a coat of clear gesso so that you provide an even coverage. So where the medium is, it's not taking as much as where the uncoated paper, and probably more so on this because this is the Dina Wakley journal, and this is cotton rag watercolor, and it grips stuff. It soaks it, you know, like if you use certain products on it and you don't put any gesso down, it really grabs them. Grabs, that's the word I was looking for. It really grabs your products. But I quite like, if I'm doing something that I want to be sort of vintage and shabby looking, I quite like how it does that, where it has a different effect on the uncoated paper as it does on the bit that's been coated. But that's not, I'm trying to find a semi-clean finger. It's coming off a little bit, but it will dry on that. Well, I hope so. To be honest, once it's in my journal, I don't really worry too much because it's in my journal and it's not going to get handled as such. But like I say, if you were concerned about that, then you could put a coat of gesso, a clear gesso over the top first, and then that would give you a key, a primer for the whole page then. Get a little bit of that going on. A bit of vintage photo. Then we'll, because I've got the brown foam in my hand, let's go with a bit of walnut stain. So this gives you a darker. What it does do actually, where the the matte medium is it gives you a bit more of a blendy surface, whereas when you go directly onto the page with your inks, it's I'm not trying to be bossy, Mary, honestly. When you go directly on your page, it's because it grips a bit more, it doesn't flow, whereas where the medium is, it actually flows over it. I mean, you can see it sort of blends. And normally if I was trying to do that with one of these foam blending tools, it would be giving me a lot more you know, where you put it on and it just sinks in and it doesn't blend as nicely, which is why, to be honest, I do like my blending brushes now when I'm trying to get a really nice blend. Because I mean, I don't mind the foams, and I do use them a lot more so with paint nowadays than I do with inks. Let's put a little bit of grey in next. Now, this is a fairly new ink pad. Having said that, it's not really coming up on there. I don't want to go too mad with my grey. Just add a little bit of grey in. To be honest, I keep looking at, now I don't know if anybody's got iced spruce, the distress ink, because I wanted to know whether it's a colour I need. Because when I look at it online, I thought it would be like a pale grey, but when I've seen it online, I've seen pictures of the packaging, it looks like it's got more of a green, but then I thought that might be it because it's spruce, isn't it, which is a tree. So I wasn't sure if it was a colour I wanted, because what I wanted was more of a pale grey, because I've got the hickory smoke, but I wanted a paler grey. I mean, I've got a little weathered. I've got a big weathered wood. I might have a weathered wood. That's another one I don't really use. Let's put a bit of brown, not brown, got brown, bit of green, but bundled sage. This is a nice vintagey colour as well. Let's go down here. That's quite a delicate sort of colours. It's not, you know, I'm trying to give it a vintage worn feel to go with what's in the background. And to be honest, this is the point at which I would now add some stenciling. So I'm thinking, do we want some stenciling on here? Because it can, at this point, especially when you've been using, like I have, lots of different, just looking at the time, lots of different papers, look a bit not incoherent, a bit higgledy-piggledy, a bit like not like it doesn't go together. And that's the point at which I usually think to myself, right, let's use some stenciling. Now, what have I got? I'm going to use one of Ash's stencils. I can't tell you what the name, I think it's called Latin. I don't keep all of my packaging, that's the trouble. So this is how I store my stencils. So I've got all Ash's stencils that I've got together on here, and I've got all my Finnabair ones, and I've got all my Pretty Gets Gritty, and I've got my Tim Holtz. Well, no, actually, I've got a right mixture there of all textures. But what I do is I put them on here on a ring. I put the holes in myself, and then I put them on a little bulldog clip, and I've got some drawers next to me. Now, this means that I then hang them on there next to me. It means I use them. If I put them away in a drawer, then I will just forget to use them. And not because I don't love them. I just, they're in a drawer, that's it. So I'm just grabbing some white gesso. And to be fair, that's something that I've got off of Jane Davenport. Right, I went for a phase of watching loads of her lives and stuff, and she said about having your stuff around you. And since I've done that, I can't have everything around me, but I put certain, like I have my alcohol markers, I have my inks, I have my crayons, I have my washi tapes, I have things around me in little drawers and pots, so that then I do, when you're crafting, you reach for them rather than having to go and get them out of a tin. And I have found that that is the biggest thing that has made me use my stuff. And that so I do that with my stencils. So because I must take some pictures, I have to say, and put them on Facebook, I think, or something, because just to show, it's a mess, but I know where things are and it makes me use them. So I've got some Pretty Gets Gritty white gesso, and I like to use a stencil brush with when I'm doing through stencils, funny enough, as opposed to a foam or anything else. If I'm using paints, if I'm using inks, I'll tend to use my blending brushes. I find them, they give you a much nicer blend. But I put it in and then I take off quite a lot. So let's go. I like to have my stenciling sort of off the page. Now I'm hoping the white's going to show. If not, I might have to switch to a darker colour. But this is what I'm now doing to like tie my pages together, tie my bits together. Let's get some out the lid. Exactly, Mary. If you have to open a drawer, if I have to go in a cupboard and open a drawer, I mean, sometimes I do. I can see that. I don't know if you can see that. Sometimes if I know I want to use a specific thing, but to be honest, I mean, I don't have an awful lot of time to use a lot of brands of stamps these days because I'm doing things for other reasons. Either my own stuff or design team work. So I don't tend to use loads of other brands, but the ones that are in drawers get used the least because I have to actually go and find them. Unless, like I say, if I've made a decision that I am going to use that on a project, then I will specifically go and get it. It's a pain to have to get it out of a drawer, to be totally honest. So, having things around me now I can say I don't think it's showing up on the screen very much, but I wonder if I did it with maybe, if I added a little bit, if I add a bit of brown, not directly. So if I put a bit of vintage photo on here, no, it's not vintage photo at all, it's walnut stone. and maybe give it more of a brownie tinge. Let's just try a little bit here where it's a bit more. When I get to having not much on my brush, oh sorry, I think I just bashed that, didn't I? I do a little bit more swirling. I don't think that's helped at all, to be honest. I think that shows up even less. We'll go back to the white. Try not to get any brown ink into my gesso. Oop. I mean, to be fair, all my distress inks, they're in the cupboard, but my cupboard's quite an open cupboard and it's got open shelves, so I do keep them on the shelves in there, and I have them vaguely in colour families because I really do need to go through and put labels. That didn't show up at all. I'm going to put a bit on that darker area there. That will probably show better. Yeah, I need to go through really and put labels on the sides of my distress inks so that I can see them easily, but just the thought of it fills me with dread, that idea. So I just stick to having to pick every single one up individually to find the one I want. But at least now I've got them, I've roughly got, you know, I've got all my blues together, all my greens together, so I can, oh, that showed up better. So that's just giving me a little bit, I've got to put a bit up there, I think. I never know when to stop with my stenciling, that's my trouble. Oh, look, where this really dark bit is here, that will show nice, won't it? Ooh, let's have, see what I mean? I don't know when to stop. Once I get started on the stenciling, that is it. I'm like, keep stenciling. There we go. But I love this stencil because you got your letters, you got your numbers, you got some words, you got a little different sort. Oh, I haven't used that one. Different sorts of. Let's put it on this bit here. Different sorts of numbers as well. So you've really got a nice mixture. I mean, numbers and letters, you can never go wrong with, as far as I'm concerned. So now I must stop. Right. I'm not going to worry too much. That will wash off. If I had my daughter Emma here, she would be taking that to the kitchen, but she's on holiday visiting her dad in Spain, so that's just not any use to me, is it? So I will leave that, but hopefully you might be able to see, you might not. Oh, you think you can see some of the stenciling on there, can't you? That now sort of is trying to start tying this together. Now what I would probably go on to do next is also add in some stamping. I'm going to pop that one in the water. So what's the time? I've got 10 minutes. What I might do is tonight we'll just get a background and then I will afterwards put a focal point on it, and I'll I can't pop a picture up. It's YouTube, isn't it? Oh. If you follow me on Facebook, I'll pop a picture on Facebook. I'll show you next time I do a live. There you go. I'm going to give that a quick zap. I'm just trying to think what stamps the one thing I don't have around me is my stamps, actually. Oh, I have got rub-ons. Oh, should we try some rub-ons? I don't really use them. I know Ashley uses them in art journaling, but I think I've used them in one journal page, and I think I have bad memories of having to do letters on things when I was at school or something. But I think they're Tim Holtz ones I've got, and I really liked them, so I bought them, and then they just sort of sat next to me, actually, in a box, because I've got to find them. Let's have a little go and just see if I can add any of them on. First of all, I've got to find them, so that could be a problem. Are they in with the paper dolls? Yes, they are. That's my. So when I've got collage elements, I do tend to. So like with Ash's books, what I do is if I cut some out and I don't use them, then I pop them into a little folder. And I do the same with Diane Reevely's as well. So where are they? They've been, I saw them over there. Now, so rather than using stamps, we'll use, get them out, get that out. Some of these will go quite nice with the whole thing. And then has it got the lollipop stick thing in it? Yes, it has. I can feel it. And you get, what is this one? Remnant Rubs, they're called. And this one is Numbers. So, I can feel, I think I can feel the stick thing in here. Yeah, there it is. So you get your lolly stick. Your lolly stick. I might have put that in there actually. I don't know if that came with it or pressure sensitive transfers that can be applied to various surfaces. Now that may or may not have come with it. I think that did come with it. It doesn't feel like one I would have had. I do have plenty of lolly sticks because I oh look, see, I have used some because I use them within resin work. But let's go for, so best thing to do with these is to cut away the bit you use rather than trying to do the whole thing, because then you're bound. I'm going to do that all as one. If you try to do the whole thing, you're, you know, on the sheet, then you're going to catch ones that you don't want. Oh, I like that. It's a tape measure. That one. So if you don't want to do stamping on there, this is an alternative. There's a ticket thing there. Goes with the whole vintage vibe. Is that part of that ticket? No, that's a separate ticket. Let's have some of these. Oh no, I sort of want, I think I want that one there with the sort of text behind it. So you could cut these out as individual numbers even. Oh, I love that. I'm sorry if you don't like that sound of this. I love that sound of this. So I want 5, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go with this dial, or is it a dial or a clock? Some kind of dial. What's its it? I can't read that because I need to get my eyes tested. I say that so many times, still haven't done it. Right. So that's some of those. Now, it says, I think you take the back off. And then I put, ooh, that's now sticky. So let's go, should we go here? Let's go there. I'm going to give it a good rub like that. And then you pushing down to transfer the image. I can see where the plastic's then lifting away where it's gone down. I'm hoping that it's dry enough that that won't affect it. Like I said, I don't overly use these, so probably because I often think, oh, it'll probably be quicker for me to get stamped. But they are something a bit different. And they sort of fit with that whole collage vibe. Now I can see that that is lifting. So I will, oh no. So there I could see that that hadn't taken. So I'll take that. That's now done. It didn't quite do that bit in the middle, but I'm not worried because it's, so I had a couple of little bits left, but you know, that's fine. So let's have that one there. Let's go with the numbers. Let's, ooh. Probably me touching them is not helping because I'm probably taking some of the stickiness off them or something. Let's go here. So we'll put this here. I don't know if you're meant to, there's not really any instructions, to be honest, on the packaging. I'm sort of going by what I've seen other people do and like my memory of using letter and number transfers when I was younger. Did anybody else have that? I can't even remember what we used to use them for. Used to have, you always had like loads of letters. I don't know if you had to put words on things or something. Just vaguely recall it. Now, I'm not sure as well whether by going over, I am going over textures and things here. I'm not sure whether that's probably the best thing, but even if it doesn't all come, I can see some of it is transferred. That one doesn't want to there. So I can feel like there's something, I don't know if it's because do you know what I think it is? I think it's because I'm going onto something underneath. I wonder if I get a block and put that under, whether that will help. No, wasn't that. But actually that might just help me generally. So I'm not worried if it doesn't all sort of. Oh, it had. It just didn't look like it had. So there, I'll just give that a blend in a little bit. And let's use this one. Where should we put this one? Oh, there's a nice big open space here. Let's take the back off that one. I think because that's such a lovely large, I'm going to put that under that because I don't know if that helps, but because thinking about it, there's a thing underneath anyway, a bit of the one behind. So that all like the big number, that straight away, it's the finer ones that seem to be slightly, you know, more difficult to get to lay down properly. Ooh, you know, ooh, no. Got a bit carried away there, didn't I? I don't know if it makes difference if you like sort of warm it up at all, or that's not all coming, that's not all going down, but that felt like that didn't. I wonder if you could then take those other bits that haven't come off. I presume you can, can't you? And just take those bits. Yeah. So then, you go, no waste. And it's got that nice distressed look. How many more did I have of these? I'm sorry, because now you're just watching me rub these on. I'll do these two and then I will finish. And let's do my numbers. Where did I put my other numbers? Put them over there. So let's do my little, let's do that coming down here next to the other numbers. Ooh. Oh, that one just came off on its own. That was done. It's done. 1, 2 and a bit. 1, 2. Oh, now which side? I'm thinking actually that I might want it here. That will look nice there. This side, I think it is to do with leaning on top of your rest of your work, because this side they are working onto there a lot easier than that side are. See, like that, come off really easy. So there we go. I'm going to leave it as that. So that's a collage background. We've got our collage papers, different sorts of rice papers, a little bit of stenciling, a little bit of vintage ink, and a bit of rub-ons as well to create a background. And I will finish it off. And what I'll do is I'm not going to do a live on YouTube again for a couple of weeks because I've got quite a bit going on. crafting wise. So I will, the next time I do a live, I will show you what I finished, and I'll probably put a picture up on Facebook. So if you're on Facebook, you'll be able to see it on there, just Jane Royston. I'm on there just as me. So thank you very, very much for watching this evening and for joining in the chat. I got more chat this week, so that's good. So hopefully gradually we'll have more and more chat as people get used to me doing the lives. And thank you so much for watching. If you're not a subscriber, do please, if you don't mind, give me a little subscribe. I would like that. And if you can like the video, that always helps, because what it does is it improves your chances of it being seen on YouTube in general. So thank you ever so much. Have a lovely evening, or if you're not watching this in the evening, have a lovely day, whatever you're doing, and I'll see you soon. Now I have to get this out of here because I'm not sure to switch this one off. So, oh, I remember, yes, this is what I did last time. Yeah, I brought it down because then I can actually show you stenciling a bit more on things, so you can see it a bit more close up, and then I'll figure out how to switch this off. So thank you ever so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye.